So you were on a bus going all around the country.
Yeah, so pretty much up until probably AA when you have an extended distance, or AAA is when you would start flying. So most of the time, I mean, I was traveling from Montana down to Idaho, and then down to Salt Lake City and playing in some of those suburbs of Salt Lake. And so it was 10, 12, 15-hour road trips at times, but it was the life I was blessed to have. I can see so much of God's hand in it. But again, it was that recognition that was my passion, and that's what I thought, oh, well, this is where I'm being called. When we were in hometown, I'd be able to make mass. When we weren't, they had baseball chapel for the most part, and so maybe be 10, 15 minutes of just devotional sharing, but definitely wasn't the priority.
So it wasn't like you could go out of your way to find a church to go to or a mass or anything like that because it was too difficult with the schedule? Is that what it was?
Yeah, because you play, once you got to professional baseball, you play every day. So you're playing on Sundays, and you can, again, when I had a vehicle, I'd drive there. And then when I ended up, was coaching later on in my career, and my team chaplain from A&M Kingsville told me, he goes, well, they got taxis. And so then after that, I was like, well, I got no excuse. So I'd get a taxi or Uber and go to mass. Or walk if you'd see one when you drive in. And so it was a recognition that what is your priority? And when my priority became to stay close to the sacraments and God, through them to be nourished in the Eucharist, it was much easier to wake up at 7 a.m. because we didn't have a game until the afternoon or evening, and so you really didn't have to be at the field until 10. It's just, okay, it's going to cut into my sleep. I need to, I'm going to have to make this a priority. But and then having that witness, some of the players would come along with me, and you're like, oh, so because you take that step, then others who are Catholic also come to Mass with you because they had an opportunity.
Yes.
Or they saw that there was an opportunity.
You could split the cab fare too.
Exactly.
Or something like that. Now, you said that you played for 5 years. Did you get injured, or you just decided you didn't want to do it anymore?
Well, I played 4 in college and then 4 in the professionals.
Okay.
And it was more or less, once I wasn't an affiliated baseball again, and once I got released that spring from the Yankees organization, it became, okay, it's much less of a chance to get another opportunity because I was getting older at that point. A lot of times you just kind of weed out because there's a draft every year. And so if you're not progressing in the levels of the minor leagues, you also recognize, okay, well, you see the writing on the wall. It's like, well, if I couldn't break it with this crop of kids, what happens when they draft another 50 of them and they have these top prospects that are coming
and they're younger,
and you're 26, 27 and you're not on the cusp of the big leagues. It became obvious that, well, maybe this is where my jersey's not going to, and I could have continued playing independent baseball, but I told my teammates after we won the championship, I was like, well, if I find a job, I'm going to go. And it wasn't the best job market. It was 2010, and it was right after the
recession.
And I found a job at Invesco and kind of moved in and utilized my business degree that I had earned from Sam.
Now, at that point, you were thinking marriage.
Exactly. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to earn money. I'm going to find a wife, have a nice family, and again, chase them around playing sports as they would have, as I was kind of raised, and to have that, because there are so many virtues that are also learned in sports. There's so much good that can be learned in sports, having the blessings of teammates, getting to know how to work with people, getting to know to utilize your talents to overcome obstacles or difficulties. But yeah, I that was my plan, and to be honest, I didn't necessarily go to like the supermarket like they always say. I went to like Catholic Bible studies hoping for the best. and I was able to date some girls, good Catholic girls, but it just, the recognition is that I wasn't really good at communicating. I was very shy. So I like to text because it seemed easier, and that's not a way to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
And when I recognize, I look back, like, yeah, obviously that was an idiotic move. But
was it that way in high school and college, and while you were playing ball too, that you were a little too shy?
Yeah, I would say in college, it was a recognition that I was fully invested, and I could be in front of 3,000 fans and have no qualms about anything. But asking a girl out was very difficult. And some advice that my brother gave me, he goes, if you want to continue playing baseball, it's very hard because there are other distractions, other commitments that you then have weighing in your thought processes. And so I just kind of put it off until I finished playing baseball.